Sadashivasamaramvam Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra-parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra-matasya Sishyam Sri Shankaracharya-matasya Padma Padam cha Hastamalakam cha Shishyam Tam Totakam Vartikakaram-anyan Asmadgurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kridau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padam Buddhanmani Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Graseka Karmani. In this chapter, chapter 6, which is very well known to be one of the biggest chapters in chapter 15, the 15th chapters of Panchadashi. Chitra Deepaha is the topic here. And we have seen up to 34th verse. I don't want to recall all the ideas presented in this, though you might have presumably have gone through that before coming to the class. Otherwise, it'll be an elaborate discussion on that itself. In essence, this chapter is a chapter that begins with Chit Swarupa Paramatma that needs to be realized, because in the first 5 chapters of Panchadashi, Sat nature of the Brahman is established, ending with Mahavakyas. And here, Chitra Deepa is Chit Rupa Paramatmanaha Vivaranam. Explanation about the nature of consciousness. Consciousness is that which is not subject to any change. Just like a canvas on which various pictures can be projected or painted, yet the basic canvas remains unaffected by whatever is projected by on it, as well as in the absence of anything else also it is continues to be. So too, Kutastha. Paramatma is referred as Kutastha. Kuta iva stitaha. Like an anvil on which when a ironsmith puts the iron rod and hits it, the anvil should be unmoving, steady. Then only the shape of the iron can be obtained.
If anvil also subject to getting beaten up and shade, losing the shade, then it is not correct. So too, Paramatma here referred as Kutastaha. And the Jiva is referred as Chidabhasaha, reflection of consciousness, projected on Kutastaha. The example that was given or taken up here is that of a person mistaking a mother of pearl for a silver while walking Balboa Beach. When he is walking there late evening, he looks at a very shining thing on the ground, on the sand. And from a distance, it appears to be a silver. But actually, it is none other than a mother of pearl. Here, it is referred here as Shukti. Shukti is the pearl, mother of pearl. Shell, we'll just simply say shell. Easier. Shell. So the shell was there, and it is seen as the silver. Rupiam. It's called Rupiam in here, Sanskrit. There are two things that what the shell has been borrowed by the silver that is perceived. And there's those two things that are known as Samanya Amsha. Samanya Amsha of the shell is borrowed by the silver. One is called Idam, another is called Sattvam or Astitvam. Idanta Astita. Idam means it is this, here, and is. So here, meaning here at this place, idam, in that way, and is astitvam. And the silverness which we saw, which the person sees, by not seeing the shell, is called Vishesha Amsha. Vishesha means unique, different, and away from, as though. Different from the shell, other than the shell, and which is uniquely of the nature of the shell, of the silver. This is called Vishesha Amsha. So we'll see in the 34, we'll just read and you can start from there. Idam shasya satyatvam Shuttikam rupyade rupya ikshate Swayam tvam vastuta chaivam Vikshepe vikshatenyagam Idamam shasya satyatvam shuktikam rupya ikshate Swayam tvam vastuta chaivam vikshepe vikshatenyagam. Idam amsham tada satyatvam cha. Idam, thisness, satyatvam, isness, shuktigam. Shuktigam belong to Shukti only, belong to the shell. But when it is seen as the silver, rupye ikshate. When you are splitting the, doing the anvaya, you should understand rupye ikshate. Because of this grammar, become rupya ikshate. Shuktigam. Shuktigam means Shukti Jadam, Shukti Sambandham. Shukti Sambandhameva idam amsham tada satyatvam cha. The thisness and isness belong to only to the shell, but it is seen as though attributed to the silver. When a person does not know it is the shell, when you ask, what is this? This is silver, he says. This is silver. This and is belong to the shell. Silverness does not belong to the shell. So therefore, this and is samanya amsha. Why? Samanya means common. So common factor is what? Factors are two, thisness and isness. And thisness and isness is not changing at all. This is called abhaditam. Abhadita amsham. These words are important and these terminologies are important, and you have to understand that when it comes to what it refers to. Abhadita amsham. Abhadita means unfalsified. Real. So this, and when you see looking at the shell, this is a silver. This and is, even though it belongs to the shell, is being attributed to the silver. And though what actually happened, silver has borrowed. Borrowed what? Borrowed samanya amsha. Why it is called samanya? Abhaditatvat. Because it cannot, by looking at the silver, it's not, this is not, there is, thisness is not gone. Isness is also not gone. Even though what he is seeing is not shell. What he is seeing is not the shell. So, what is not falsified is idam tvam, idam amsham cha, satyatvam cha, shuktau, rupye ikshate. This is the example that is given in the first line. Now, if you understand this clearly without any doubt, then goes to the actual what he is trying to tell us. Now, idam amshascha satyatvam shuktigam rupye ikshate. Now, the next line is swayam tvam. Selfness. This word swayam is going to be used by Vidyaranya. And I will tell you why also later on. Because swayam, actually it is aham. Swayam, but this exact translation of swayam is, or swayam or swam, is self. Self, selfness. And vastuta astitvam. These two belong to cha evam. Where is that it is seen? Where is it belong to? They belong to kutastam. Kutastagam, that needs to be added here. Kutastagam swayam tvam vastuta vikshepe, at the time of superimposition, anyagam ikshate. Anyagam ikshate. Other than the self, it is seen. In what? Jivatva. Aham so and so, aham somadattaha, aham yajnadattaha, aham so and so's son or daughter. These are all the jivatva samsaritva. So anyagam. Anyagam means pritak, other, different. In something other than what is seen. In the same way as other than the Shukti, what is seen as silver, and then it is seen as the attributes of the silver. This is silver. That this is also belong to silver. Is also belongs to silver. This is the way that person sees. In the same way, Kutastagam swayam tvam vastuta anyagam ikshate. It is seen in other one. Or you can say anyagam, if you want to put this the front, anyagam kutastam swayam tvam vastuta chevam vikshepe ikshate. Vikshepita vastushu ikshate. It is seen in the what is superimposed on it, and what is superimposed is jivatva. Just like the shell not perceived is seen as the silver by misunderstanding, so too what belongs to the kutastha is seen as the nature of the jiva, nature of the individual self, chidabhasa. Reflected consciousness is seen to be real and oneself, which actually belong to Kutastha Chaitanya Paramatma. So, now see, why it is so that it is said this way? There is no this silver at all. There's no silver there. So when you say this is silver, what is not there, you are saying it is there. जो नहीं है उसका अस्तित्व आपने दिया. कहाँ कैसे दिया, किससे दिया, किस वस्तु से लेकर दिया? What is not there, you are seeing as there. That means it has borrowed from somewhere else. Similar to, if you go back to that same canvas में जो वस्तु आपने painting किया, whatever be the painting that is given, put there, or drawing that is print, or that is projected, इसका अस्तित्व भी canvas का है. It is the canvas that is giving its existence, and that canvas is seen as the picture. So this is a beautiful drawing. This is a beautiful painting. This is a forest when you say. It is a canvas. So anyagam swayam tvam vastuta evam, in the same way as before in the example, vikshepe. Vikshepe, in the time of superimposition, ikshate. Vikshate, ikshate. Visheshena, ikshate. So in the example, what is said as idam, this is actually aham in the Kutastha. And there what it says said as satyatvam, astitvam, asmitvam. Aham asmi. Vastu asti. So the misunderstanding of this kind, we have to mainly highlight on the point of what is samanya amsha, which is abaditam, and what is vishesha amsha, which is subject to baditam bhavati. We falsify. Some more notes here to understand. Avrita ninashe idam tata satyatvam sama eva. Vikshepa vinashe astitvam and idam tvam sama eva. Tasmat, therefore it is called samanyam. When vikshepa is removed, when the misunderstanding is removed, when the superimposition is removed, from seeing the shell, you start seeing the silver, you start seeing the cell. Astitvam tata idam tvam na badidam bhavati. Tasmat. They do not falsify, they do not disappear. They do not disappear. They do not become non-existent. Now from this is shell, you start, this is silver, you start saying, this is shell. Similarly, aham jiva asmi. From there, where do you go to? Aham brahma asmi. Aham swayam tvam. Asmi is same, continuing. किसको छोड़ दिया आपने? विशेष अंश को छोड़ दिया. विशेष अंशम, that is जीवत्व. And which when we understood as baditam bhavati. Jnana samaye or jnana utpatti samaye jnana balat baditam bhavati. By the strength of knowledge gets falsified. That which falls, false. That's why we are false. False season. What is falling? What is falling? The tree doesn't fall. Leaves fall. Because why? Because they have to leave. That's why they are called leaves. Why are you called leave? Because I am taking on leave. For 6 months I won't be here. So, Shuktehe Swarupam Astitvam. Kutastaha Swarupam Astitvam. Vikshepidam, Kutastaha Vikshepita Vastu is what? Jivatvam. So here it is borrowed, therefore, idam tada astitvam abhadyam. This is what we need to understand clearly in this. Idam asti tu shuktehe samanyam abhadidam amsham adhyasakale badida rupam drishyate. Badidam and jnana samaye vishesha amsha eva badidam bhavati na samanyam. Jnana samaye vishesha amsha eva badidam bhavati na samanyam. Astitvam idam tvam cha, they both stay only, staha eva. So, adhishtanas eva idam tada astitva amshau, both of them. So, here, when somebody is seen after some time you are seeing a person, would you ask, who are you? You ask, how are you? Meaning what? In what condition you are now. The how is what is changing. How is what is changing. Who you are, that is not changing. If who are you, then you don't know that person. Hello? Who are you? If the person doesn't say who that person is, then who are you? If your friend is calling, what do you ask? How are you? What condition you are? So how changes? Who doesn't change? Similarly, I am, Brahman doesn't change. But in what condition I am now, that changes. Aham Jivaha is how my condition right now. Aham Brahma is what I need to reach. So when I say, how are you? Meaning what condition that presently you are, that which condition which you assumed yourself to be is not right. This is what is the teaching is about. The teaching is how to change the howness, not the who-ness. Dehadvaya lakshanani katayati ajnaha katayanti ajnaha shariradvayam chidabhasa cha borrowed. So they are all borrowed. What is that? Sukshma cha, Pula shariram cha. These are all borrowed identification of the individual. So now, jnana samaye swayam tvam tada vastutvam cha abaditam. Now, this is further explained in the verse number 35, explaining further details about the Vishesha Amsha of the Vishesha Amsha, which is subject to Baditam. And what is that which of the nature of the shell which gets obscured during the time of Vikshepa? See, Vikshep, the Shukti also has got Vishesha, but that gets obscured by the Vishesha of the silver. Now you see, Neela Prishta Trikonatvam Yata Shukto Tirohitam Asanganandatatyevam Kutastepi Tirohitam Neela Prishta Trikonatvam Yata Shukto Tirohitam Asanganandatatyevam Kutastepi Tirohitam. The nature of the Shukti, the shell, not only Idamtvam and Satyatvam, thisness and isness is there in the shell, but certain aspects of the shell also are not seen in the time of superimposition due to obscuring that part of it by the projection of silver. What are those things of the shell which gets obscured by the projection of the shell? I mean silver. Neela Prishta. And the shell looks blue in color. Prishta means the backside of it. The backside of the shell. The front side is what is seen to be, seen as silver. There is a backside which is not seen. I have not seen a shell like that, so therefore I have only imagined that. Neela Prishta and Trigonatvam, three-dimensional aspect. Because the person who is looking at probably buried shell. The shell is already buried. Therefore, the sand has already buried the other parts, and only one part is shiny part is shown or seen. Therefore, he says this is silver. So, what is there? Neela Prishta, the blue backside, as well as the three-dimensional aspect of it. These two, Yata Shukto, which is there in the Shukti, which is there in the shell, Tirohitam, is obscured, covered, unseen. And because of that reason, one is concluding it to be the shining part alone is seen, and therefore one thinks it is silver. In the same way, here, what is of the nature of Kutastha which gets obscured? And Jiva is not recognizing it. Asanga Ananda Adi. Asanga, unattached. It is, Paramatma is not attached to anything. It is not attached to any of the bodies, any of the sheets. In fact, it is attached to nothing. That Asanga and Ananda. Ananda is naturally blissful, naturally joyful, naturally at the state of peace. And Adi, when it is said, Amaratvam, Sanatanatvam, Avikaritvam, Akartrutvam, Ajatatvam. So many are there. Ajaya Namaha, Avyaya Namaha, Vinash. The whole another eight belong to it. Avinashitvam. All that are which belong to the Kutastha. Kutaste Asanga Anandata Adi Evam Kutaste Api Even though it belonged to the Kutastha, Tirohitam. So the Jiva, even though by nature, as Kutastha is Asanga, unfortunately, Aham Sangha, Sangoham, only Asangoham. When he's chanting, he cannot say Asangoham. Asangoham, Asangoham, Punah. That is what it's supposed to be. Sangoham, Punah. I'm only attached. Again and again I'm attached. New things are coming. Car, iPhone, pet. So many things. Everything again and again and again and again. And Anand. Ananda is also, as I said, so many things are there. All of them are Kutaste api, even though it is there, but because of the, just like the silver when it is projected on, even though the borrowed ones are there, Astitvam, that is there, and Idamtvam, that is there, or that is not changed. But even though that which is there in the shell, but because of the Vikshepa, it is considered, it is not seen at all, though it is still there. So Asangata and Anandatvam Atyadi Kutaste api Sirohitam eva bhavati na nasham gacchati vikshepa samaye. It is not that it is not there, it is not seen, it is not experienced, it is not known. So isme Kutastha this is not something new, it acquires upon realization. Now I am Anand. Always you are. Now I am Asanga. ऐसा नहीं है. पहले भी है तो you are Asanga होंगे, हमारा होंगे, अविनाशी होंगे, अव्यक्त होंगे, अविकारी होंगे, अकर्ता होंगे. इत्तदद्रेश्यम अग्राह्यम अवर्णम अचक्षुस्तोत्रम तद अपाणिपादम नित्यम विभुम सर्वगतम सुसूक्ष्मम. परिपश्यन्ति धीरा, they see it. तो पहले भी था, उसका तिरोहितम हुआ. It has been obscured, covered. This covering is what is called vikshepa, otherwise known as adhyaropa. So here, this idam abhadyam, and what is covered in vikshepa? Neela Prushta, the blue color, the background, backside, Trikonatvam, these are all hidden in that as though in the shell. It is like the ropeness of the rope is obscured. The shape is seen, but not the ropeness. The ropeness is replaced by snakeness. And the rope having certain characteristics, that is all obscured because of the projection, strong projection of the snake, and one comes to see only the characteristics of the snake. Suddenly you will start seeing the tongue also, which is not there at all, and some poison coming out of it. And it's moving also. You see that. And if it is, what do you call that, a rattlesnake, the tail also is all sort of things he's seeing. It's not there. But what is there as ropeness is not seen. So, Asanga Anandata Adi Purnatvam Sanatanatvam, these are all obscured. This obscuring of these qualities of these Kutastha, when it is realized, and when it is not realized, Jivatvam Jatam Bhavati. Then it is the individuality is strongly finding its foundation. So therefore, one what he feels, aham sangaha, aham dukhi, aham na anand, aham dukhi, sada dukhi. Sada dukhi rupoham sangoham sangoham punaha sada dukhi rupatvam sangoham punaha. So this is how we should chant. With a very musical note you can sing that. No problem, whatever musical note you put. Many people get carried away with asangoham. And they get into that music thing and they forget about the content. Yeah, please go down. So, Samanyam atirohitam abhadyatvat Vishesham tirohitam atirohitam samanyam. Samanyam atirohitam. That is what idamtam, idamta, and then satyatvam is not obscured atirohitam because abhadyatvat. Whereas tirohitam bhavati vishesha qualities of the Atman, just as vishesha quality of that shell is get obscured. So now the Shastra's role is to reintroduce you to you. It's not adding anything of its own. It is only removal of Vikshepa, and by the very removal of Vikshepa, you come to see what you have not seen before and also understand what you have been always. A दूसरा कोई और वस्तु यहाँ पे is not introduced here, which you have not seen, which you have been always. That is very clearly being realized by the person who comes to get removed, get these vikshepa removed. Just as on the removal of the snake notion, what has been there already, which has never get disturbed at all, is seen and understand that was there always. So Kutastha nature is always been in me as Brahma, Aham Asmi, Sada Asmi Eva. Pehle bhi, aaj bhi, or in the future also, I am the same nature. What has been misunderstood by me in the past until now, when it is removed, I come to know that there was no time I was not Kutastha. There's no time I was not Brahman. मैं पहले ब्रह्मन नहीं था, अभी ब्रह्म हो गया, ऐसा नहीं है. आरोपितस्य दृष्टान्ते रूप्यं नाम यथा तथा कूटस्थाद्यस्त विक्षेप नाम हमिति निश्चयः आरोपितस्य दृष्टान्ते रूप्यं नाम यथा तथा कूटस्थाद्यस्त विक्षेप नाम हमिति निश्चयः. Drishtante, in the illustration of Shukti seen as Rupyam. Shukti is seen as Rupyam. Shell is seen as silver. Aropitasya of that which is superimposed in that illustration. What is superimposed? Shukto aropitasya. What is superimposed upon that shell? Rupyam nama. The name that is given on that projection is silver. Please understand this point. The projection is called silver. There is no silver actually. Therefore, Rupyam nama. ये नाम ही है, उसका अस्तित्व नहीं है, उसका there is no reality of that. सत्यत्व भी नहीं है उसका, ये नाम ही है बस। क्या नाम देगा you gave to that one which you're seeing? शुक्ति का नाम आपने दिया स्वरूप्यम इति. The shell you have given a new name according to your confused vision. You are aropita drishtya, aropana drishtya, avrita drishtya. You have given the name silver. It's important here to note how it is connected here, going to be connected here. So it is only a name you gave to your projection. The name you are given to that projection. Underline that. In the same way, Kutastha Adhyastha, Kutaste Adhyastha. It's a single compound is used here. Kutastha Adhyastha Vikshepanama Amiti. One single compound, but you have to split it. Kutaste Adhyastha. In that Kutastha, in the Kutastha Chaitanya, in that very consciousness, pure consciousness, unconditioned consciousness, Adhyastha, what is being projected on, Vikshepasya Nama, what is projected upon, the name that you are given to that projected notion is Aham. I. इसका नाम है अहंकार. The ego, aham, is a nama, a name. Or you have given namakaran. The children, when the children are born, within 15 days or 20 days, 11. Nowadays, you have to, even before they are born, they have to be told what the name, because the records should show in the hospital records. So, but in India, we have Namakarana ceremony. Yeah. So the child, even though it cannot listen carefully, in this years he will say what the name is. Until then, that fellow has no name. Right? The child has no name until you tell, this is your name, this is your name, this is your name. Similarly, we are given name to this projection. What is your name? Ego. Here you go. This is the name you gave. Ahankar uska naam hai. Kiska naam hai? Vikshepa nama. Vikshepasya nama. It's like the silver is a name given to that Adhyaropa. Similarly, Ahankar is a name you are given to that projection. What? Projection of you as a jiva, sangaha, apurnaha, maranatmakaha, dukkhatmakaha, kriyasahitaha, kartru, bhoktru, samsari. Itna kitna naam bachaiye? Samsarine namaha, jataya namaha. Now another names for jiva. Vinashine namaha. We should have another one. Avinashine. Ajaya namaha. Here jataya, jatave namaha. Then Vinashine namaha. Chintyaya namaha. Chintya. Always under Chitta. Dvitiyaya namaha. Nikedaya namaha. So, Nama. एक कुछ भी नहीं है, but नाम. नाम दिया आपने. You are given a name to that projection. Just like the silver is a name that you are given to that projection. Samanyamsham pashyan vishesha amsham na apashyan tasmat adhyasah jayate. Samanyamshan pashyan, while seeing the samanyamsha is clearly, then vishesha amsham na pashyan is not seeing the visheshatvam of the visheshansha, the projection of the thing which has got the peculiar quality which you have projected on, that you do not see as vishesha. Therefore, that is what is called adhyasa, meaning vikshepa. Vikshepa is none other than while seeing the samanyamsha, you are not recognizing what you are projecting upon is a vikshepa. I mean, visheshamsha. What is a visheshamsha? Silverness is a visheshamsha. Snakeness is a visheshamsha. Jivatva is a visheshamsha. Ahankara is a visheshamsha. And which you do not see as a vishesha and see it as yourself. That is called adhyasa. Visheshatvam of the visheshamsha, you don't see it. You do not recognize that it is projected, unique nature which is not really you are. Maranatvam, apurnatvam, samsaritvam, jivatvam, jatatvam, dukkatvam, all that. And therefore, this is what is to be understood as the reason kutastha astyasita vikshepasya nama aham nischaya ajnani. So what is this nischaya? It is written last word nischaya. It is that nischaya is none other than a false perception which one has come to conclude as right. Some people are very, 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 very clearly understanding themselves wrong. Nischay. Samshay nahi hai. Aham jiva. Idi nischay. And there is no doubt. Some people who have a doubt. If doubt is there, swam sadhaka bhavati. Isn't it? मैं जीव हूं क्या? ऐसा एक सोच. A thought has come to you. You are a sadhak. Am I the real? Am I the dying entity? Am I the samsari? Am I the suffering entity? If that question has come, then you are a sadhaka. If the question never came, then you are samsari. That's why it took so many questions. Arjuna has to ask question after question. Why? Because I'm not sure what I'm thinking about myself is not me. I want to know whether I'm rightly understanding this. Continuing here. Idamam samsvata pashyan rupam ityabhimanyate tada swam cha svata pashyan aham ityabhimanyate idamam samsvata pashyan rupam ityabhimanyate tada swam cha svata pashyan aham ityabhimanyate. Swataha here to be understood pratame. In the beginning of the perception of the silver takes place upon seeing the thisness and isness to start with. When I say this is silver, what comes first is recognition of that object lying there as this is idam amsham swataha satyatva satyatvam and idam idantvam idam amsham cha This is called Samanya Amsham of the Shukti. Of the shell, these two aspects of the Samanya, Pratamaha Pashyan, then alone, next stone comes, Rupyam iti Abhimanyate. Again, the example is very important here, or the statement what is presented here. Thisness and isness is first recognized before the projection takes place. This is Samanya. And then the projection takes place, such as the rope is seen. Without seeing the rope, you cannot see the snake. Correct or not? कुछ है, क्या है, उसमें वो गड़बड़ हो गया. It is there. Something is there. Without something there, you cannot project anything. Correct? Something is there. So, idam, this satyam, or here it says swataha. Swataha means satyatva. Swataha, sorry, idam amsham, thisness is including of satyatvam. Swataha means pratama. Pratame, first to start with. Pashyan, seeing. Rupyam iti abhimanyate. It is considered or believed to be as silver. Now, extend the example here. Tata, in the same way, swam cha. I am the self. Here, swam to be as self. I am. Pratamaha, swataha, pashyan. I am, there is no doubt. That is the first recognition. If somebody asks, are you there? I am. उसका शास्त्र का आवश्यकम नहीं. There is no shastra need to say. Do you know one thing? What? You are. Oh, I didn't know that. I am need not be introduced by Shastra. And it is naturally known, and even Ajnahapi, Vijnahapi, Katati or Katayati, Aham iti. Whether it's an ignorant person or a knowledgeable person, there's no doubt about oneself, referring oneself as I am. So, Tata Swam cha Swataha Pashyan, that very Swam, self, is referred as Aham. Here, Aham is to be understood as ego, Ahankar, iti manyate. Aham Jivaha, iti manyate. Abhimanyate. Abhimanyate believes, thinks, considers, understands oneself to be. So, just as the thisness and presence of that Shukti alone would lead one to project on the notion of silver and calls it as silver, in the same way, I am, which is an irrefutable presence, having been seen first or known first alone, the ego or jivatva is projected on that aham and known or named as aham. The nama earlier I said, ahankar, I-ness. Again, here understand the aham to be understood as ahankar. This aham is different from Paramatma, Atma. That is not to be misunderstood here. So, Kutastaha is merely seen as Chidamas. Kutastaha Chaitanyam is merely known today at this present moment as Ahankar. Individual, subject to change, subject to destruction. So, who shows the Samanya Amsha of the Shukti? Anybody has to show you that. Samanya Amsham of the Shukti need not be shown. Shastra bhi nahi chahiye usko. this is, a thing is known without any aid of external things. In the same way, Shastram va, Guru va, Shastra chahiye usko, Guru chahiye usko, nahi. Swayameva, Samanya amsha sada asti tasmat, Roop Swayameva pashyati, na anyena janati. Not necessarily for somebody else to show that. So, if Samanyababi Sada Nachet, if the Samanya Amsha, common factor, is also not there, that condition is called Sushupti. Samanyam abhi na pashyati chet, na nasti, na pashyati chet. If a person which is not recognizing the Samanya Amsha, then what is that condition is known as? The state where you are right now, or wanting to be. Sushupti. But even when you don't know it is there, आपको वो मालूम नहीं, you do not know that. I am is not recognized at the time of sleep. Not that it is not there. That is why it is said, Anadi Sushupti Kala Ajnan. Ajnan ka uska Anadi Sushupti. Ajnan ka dusra और नाम है Anadi Sushupti. Just like Sushupti Kale Aham na janami, my own existence I do not recognize, though I am. Others definitely know it. In the same way, this Samanya Amsha is not there, but not Drishyate, Tirogitam. So, Avaranam Samanyam na Avranoti. Avarana does not, or Vikshepa does not definitely cover the Samanya Amsha. And no Vishesha Amsha can cover or obscure the Samanya. Vikshepa, Vishesha cannot obscure Samanya. These unique qualities cannot obscure the basic quality. The silver cannot obscure thisness and isness. So too, Ahankar cannot negate thisness, I am, that cannot be negated. So even a person does not know oneself as Brahman, still he refers himself as I am. That I am, because being Samanya Amsha, even as he misunderstands himself to be ego, cannot obscure it, cannot remove it. That is why it's called Samanya. And this is to say that a person upon realization does not change his nature as I am. What he comes to recognize is only what was falsified, what was been there, which before, which is subject to falsification. And the realization is only why I was not falsifying that before. Even though it is only giving me dukkha only. Is it not true? Our false idea about ourselves is not giving us ananda. It is not giving us peace. If it is not giving us joy, it is not giving us calmness and but it only gives us only the opposite, dukkham, marana bhayam, worry, uncertainty, disturbance, agitation, confusion, attachment. जानते हुए भी हमको किस बार, I mean, how do we falsify it? How do I get rid of it? How do I? And that is the reason Shastra says, let us leave it aside. Let us look at what you are finding first. Pratamaha, first you understand astitvam and idamtvam first. Then let us go to how to falsify the others. Now, Why is that? Swayam, I am, self, which is referred as self. The Swayam is called self. How the self is, why it is called Samanyam? When you say it is same, what do you mean by same? Is it that it is an individual, it is always there? That is why we are saying Samanyamsha. That this and isness that belongs to the Shukti, the shell, is always there, and there. If it is not here, it is somewhere else. Yaha pe nahi hai, atra nahi, atra na asti. Somewhere else it would be there. So, isness and thisness is there, always associated with that Shukti. Is it because of that you are calling it a Samanyamsha, or any other reason? Here, Dhyarana says, no, I'll tell you. This Swayamta, selfness, is not just because it is always there in yourself, in everyone. The Samanya is not just because it is there always in you. It is always in everyone. So that is why it is called Samanya. How is that? We'll see in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah.